So this time I'm looking at the Sega Dreamcast. As you can see, the top works well. Bought this GDEmu unit. So this basically replaces your drive for an SD card, and I've 3D printed this little piece here which allows you to put your cards in and out. You don't need it, you can just use the stands. The first thing I thought I'd better do is just kind of try and get this open button working a bit better. The drive itself works fine. Again, I just want to do this. Ideally, the reason I bought this is to transfer my games all over onto SD card, just so I don't have to keep using the original discs. If anyone knows a good way of doing that, all the tutorials I've seen so far are basically just saying about how to get a GDI or a CDI and burn it to CD-ROM to play on the disk drive unit itself. So as you can see, the console itself very easy to take apart. Just got to remove the modem part just to get to that full screw, but just 4 crosshead screws on here. Cover comes off. And then again, just 3 crosshead screws on the inside. Just going to give this a little bit more, just to kind of lubricate it up a bit, loosen it a bit. And all I'm using here is a bit of contact cleaner, just because again, if I use grease on it, it's going to be a little bit smudgy. This stuff kind of evaporates, and it's just really just clear a little bit of dirt out of there rather than having to dismantle it all. So here, yeah, just the 3 screws here just come out. 1 here, if it wants to come out. 1 here. And then 1 at the back. And that's it, that's the whole CD unit out. So now I'm going to fit the GDEmu in there, and as you can see, it just goes into the same slot that the GD drive just came out of. Just going to put my little 3D print on here. So I'll put a link to this below. I just got this from Thingiverse. And there was various options with this one. I've gone for the one with blanks, but you could get one where it had slots for putting more SD cards, you know, using it as a storage device to hold extra SD cards while you're not using them. Just using the original screws, so I've just done 2 into the 3D print and then 1 to hold the 3D print down to the base of the unit itself. And that's it, that's the whole mod. Just a couple of heat sinks to put on there as well. So these have a little sticky base on them with some thermal compound, so they just stick on the top. Transfer any heat that the chips may cause. Again, with this mod though, you could technically run it with the drive lid open, so let more cool get in there. Just put it all back together again, and that should be it, apart from setting up the SD card, and that's the whole mod. However, as you'll see, it didn't quite go according to plan for myself. So just so you're aware as well, this will only work on certain Dreamcasts. If it's got that one with a circle on it, that one should work fine. Also bought this as well, an HDMI cable. So again, the Dreamcast outputs a VGA output. This will use the VGA output and convert it to an HDMI signal. And it works for most games. Apparently there's a few games it doesn't work for, they don't have that. I haven't come across any yet, but if you know of any, let me know in the comments below. Also, they hid this HDMI cable underneath the main packing, so just be mindful of that if you buy this. I bought this unit on Amazon for I think about £25, and then the actual GDEmu I bought on AliExpress for I think it was like £62 including postage. There are others on eBay and Amazon, but they're very expensive. So the card I'm using here is a 64 gig Amazon Basics micro SD card with an adapter to make it a full SD card size. Windows will only let you format FAT32 up to 32 gig. Any card you use in this needs to be formatted FAT32. So I'll show you some software that allows you to convert any size drive into FAT32. So right now I'm just putting the controller together. This is a rumble pack, and then the top part's the memory pack. So this is the software I use to format the 64 gig SD card. Click on the graphic rather than clicking on the little bit of text there. If you click on the text, it will give you the command version of it, and just need to do quick format, and that will now format your card. The second software you need is the GDEmu card manager. It might ask you to download .NET.50 runtime. So you've got to download it from this side bit here. Just go to the latest, and I'm using, for this installation, I'm using Windows 10 64-bit. However, I've installed this on Windows 11 64-bit, and it's all working fine on both of them. So you've just got to extract it all. Then I just saved the file to my desktop. First time you'll get this warning normally from Microsoft saying protect your PC. You got to hit that and then do run anyway. Because it's unsigned software, it won't like it, so it's the only way to kind of get around that. So if I refresh, you'll see this SD card. I've already got some games on there, and as you'll see later on when I'm testing, it's just these 3 games that are on the card. I've done this after I've done all the other testing. But again, what's good with this is now I can take these, so these are zip files, open them, save them to my SD card that I've got plugged into the computer. Now I've sped this up greatly because obviously it has to uncompress them and install them on there. And what I'll do also, I'll add a little graphic as well. The other good thing with this, using this method as well, is it has a sort list as well, so you can sort your stuff into alphabetical order, or if you want a certain cluster of games together, you can move them around however you want. And again, ideally what I want to do, because I understood that this software you were able to save your actual games, your physical games to it, but I can't find a way of doing that. So if anyone knows how to do that, so what I've done right now, I've just got some GDI ROMs and using them for now. But ideally I want to use my own. I know it sounds weird because I'm just copying my own games, but that's what I want to do, is use a backup of my own games rather than just getting random games off the internet. It's not ideal for me. So now I've just put it in alphabetical order. You've just got to hit save changes to make sure it saves it all properly. And that's it now, it's all alphabetical order on the card. So that's the card in the unit itself. And what I thought I'd try first is just try it without a card in there, just see what we get. Remember to press the power button, not the open button. So all I'm getting is just the Dreamcast logo up. So now I thought I'd try it with the card in. Getting exactly the same thing. So because I haven't tested this one in a while, I thought what I'll try and do, I'll just try it with the original CD-ROM back in there, or GD-ROM back in there. Don't get me wrong, I have tried unplugging, plugging that card back in and out, cleaning it, doing whatever. It just does not want to have it. So again, I just thought I'd just try it with, while it's open, with an original disc. So this is Evolution of Speed. And of course, because it hasn't got a cover on, just got to push that little tab at the back. So as far as it's concerned, it's got a cover on it. The lid's closed. Now sped this up a little bit just for loading times.
Press start.
So as you can see, that's working fine with the original drive. So now I'm just going to try this GDEmu again, just to see whether it's going to work. Trying it with a different SD card as well. That one that I'm putting in there right now is the original Amazon one, but I've tried it with a SanDisk 32 gig and I was getting exactly the same results. Get this though, it shows the Dreamcast thing, flicks off, flicks back on again. The other thing I noticed as well, I had this red flashing light on here, which again, because it's the first time I've used this unit, I don't know if that's it just reading the disc or whether that's the fault that it's showing me right now. Luckily, I do have a second Dreamcast. So at this point, because I bought this on AliExpress, I'm just assuming maybe this card's no good. So I thought I'd just try this drive as well, just make sure it can play games, which it does. So now I thought, because it's such a simple mod anyway, I'll just take the GD drive out of this, put this, the whole unit, the GDEmu, over onto this one, and just see what I get. There's a little SanDisk one that I'm using. Again, both of these are micro SD card. And then just using the adapter to turn them into full-size SD cards. Yeah, that's different straight away. So that's working. And as you can see, as you go down the various games, just going to try House of the Dead. You can turn this off as well if you don't want it to do the Dreamcast logo and everything every time. But that's House of the Dead working fine.
The House of the Dead. The House of the Dead.
Now I know I've got the working unit. As I say, this is the little SanDisk 32 gig. So now I'm going to try the 64 gig, because another issue that I've heard of is it's just incompatible with certain SD cards. So I thought, I wonder if that is the problem. It's just that. No, that's working fine. So another thing here, just to bear in mind, you see across these 2 points, 1 and 3, I'm getting 14.2 volts. That's normally around 12 volts with the original drive in. The way to get around it is to put 3 1 kilo ohm resistors in parallel between 0.1, 0.3, I believe quarter watt resistors. It acts as a fake load on the system itself. I'm just going to see how hot it's going to get, and if it is getting hot, then I'll do that. As you can see, both of these Dreamcasts are identical. They've both got the 1 on them. They're both the same model. They're identical in every way. It's just one will play that and one won't. So please leave me a comment if you know the reason why one will play it and one won't. This one now has the GD drive back in it again, the one that I was originally going to modify. And it plays games fine. There's no issues with it at all. So that's good. And then the other one plays the GDEmu games fine with no issues at all. Very bizarre. But on that, I will see you next time.